Then there was Crontendo. I have to say was. He could still be active. I'm not entirely sure. He started really slowing down. His goal was to go through every Nintendo game in chronological order. And although that is a huge task, I looked it up. There's over 700 Nintendo games that he could do. He expanded that while he was still playing to also do Chron Sega. So every Sega, I think, was it a Genesis or Master System? Either way, all the games for one of the Sega consoles, and then Chron Turbo, which was for Turbo Graphics 16, I think. So all of a sudden, his goal went from like 700 games to 2,000 games. And he started slowing down. His videos are 15 games a piece per video. They're usually about an hour for the video. So he plays 15 games and it just kind of talks about it. He's uploading about one a year now. So he plays 15 games a year. He might never get through that. But it was an ambitious goal and definitely something that I appreciated because he would talk about how video games themselves evolved, and he would show it by showcasing a game. Here's the game. Here's what I think about it. And we're going to forget about it because it's a mahjong game or a baseball game, and it's not that important. But that always interested me. So I followed a lot of retro gamers. Like I said, a lot of them fell off too. And so it was difficult for me to really find a lot of inspiration for my own videos along the way. And I would say as a result, I've kind of just stuck with what I've been doing for a long time. And I've not necessarily gotten an itch to change things, but I have thought over the years that I wanted to do something slightly different than what I have been doing. That's why I had started like the podcast. My chief influence for that was Clan of the Grey Wolf. They stopped altogether. I have no idea what happened to them. They just fell off. I think it's because they had kids. Well, at least one of them had kids. But the other guy, I don't know what's going on with him. He also did, his name was Rue, and he did How Things Work, and he talked about technology. And he also talked about 16-bit gems. That's apparently really hard to say. Where he would find some of the underappreciated great games of basically the Super Nintendo era or Sega Genesis era. And it was in a direct response to Angry Video Game Nerd, who I also still enjoy sometimes. The idea was that I don't want to just be angry at bad games. I want to showcase good games. So those were definitely things that I appreciated that these guys were doing. And that kind of influenced my decision to do something a little different. Like I said, I wanted to do podcasts. I thought about doing streams. Streams are much more available to me now than they were before. Before I could only really record at like 10 o'clock at night. Now I can actually probably start recording earlier, but we'll talk about more about streams later. It just wasn't that fun. I think I did 3 streams total, and for 2 of them, I didn't get a single comment in chat. So it was because of the time that I was trying to get it done. So it's just not necessarily fun for me to do streams as it is right now. What was the other thing that I was trying to do? Oh, vlog videos. I'm still kind of interested in doing that. It's not necessarily my thing. I don't necessarily like being in front of camera. I don't like, having to visually be in front of camera. I don't mind having a mic in front of me, but, if you guys can see me, it kind of changes things. It is still something that I'm considering doing, but I don't think I'm going to have the time to do that. And I'm not entirely sure what I could do with the vlog videos right now, other than possibly cooking. But even that, I'm not entirely sure I want to do. I also thought about doing kind of highlight style Let's Plays where I do more of what some of the bigger name YouTubers do, which is I cut a lot of the game out and I only show you stuff that I feel is important, or if I crack a particularly good joke. I've done that with my Let's Plays with Buttercrust over the years, and those have been the lowest viewed videos that I've done. If I put Buttercrust's name on it, like nobody watches it, which is sad because I feel like we have a good chemistry. And I think that we work really well together, and we've had some of my favorite moments with the two of us together. So if you haven't ever seen the two of us together, I would recommend it. I feel like they're pretty good. But with the two of us together, it definitely had to be more of a highlight style thing instead of just watching the full thing of the two of us playing together. So that's like, you could kind of see that I was starting to think about other things than just the straight Let's Plays. But I think I have fully decided now on a way for me to tweak what's going on the channel in a way that will make me happy. And I'm already excited about it, and I have a lot of the details already set. So I think it's officially time for me to talk about the channel relaunch. Once again, once we finish all of the other games that I'm currently working on, I'm going to do this channel relaunch. That is the idea. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to work out that way. I don't know how the timing is going to pan out just yet. I don't know how it's going to work out, but the goal is to finish the games that I've already started and then immediately go into the channel relaunch. If there's a delay there or if there's some overlap there, I don't know. But that's the goal, is to finish the game, then do the channel relaunch. I don't know if I'm going to rename the channel. I've thought about that. I just don't know. I might just rename the project because it's going to be much more of a project that I'm working on. Just as for the channel as a whole, it's going to be a big project. And the goal of the game is, the goal of the project is that I want to play a lot of video games. I mean, a ton of video games. And I want to play them in chronological order. That is my goal. You might remember me saying that Crontendo was doing something similar, but he was playing every video game. That is not my goal. I don't want to play every video game. I don't want to play every video game from any particular producer or developer or for any certain console or anything like that. That is not what interests me. I don't want to play every game. I want to play the good games, the really good games, the groundbreaking games, the industry-changing games. I want to play those games. If the game is good enough, I want to do a full Let's Play, right? That's my goal. I still want to do Let's Plays, but I want to do the Let's Plays in chronological order. And I know for some of you that means that I'm going to be playing games that you don't particularly want to see for a while, right? If you don't want to see games until, like 1995, it's going to take me a bit to get there, right? So I understand that when I first start, I'm going to have some people that are upset, and I understand that, but I feel like this project is a worthwhile endeavor, and I am fully excited to get started with it. Like I said, if the game is good enough, I want to do a full Let's Play of it. And for a lot of arcade games, that probably means like 15 minutes, right? What's a full Let's Play of Pong? I don't know, probably like 10 minutes tops. Like, what are you going to do? But for other games, like the RPGs, I want to go all the way through it, right? I'm there for the story. I'm there for the aspect of what changed things. What experiences does this game bring people? If the game I feel is not good enough for a full Let's Play, I will mention it kind of on the side. Also, this game came out around here. I want to talk about the history of video games. I want to follow certain companies, right, and see how their products change over time. I want to follow certain people and see the influence that they have on the games that they have created. I want to follow the ideas. I want to follow the genres. And I'm going to do that with Let's Plays, but also with videos that just kind of summarize certain things. So when we start, I'm going to summarize the history of gaming up until we can actually play a game. Because there's a lot of history of video games before we actually get to a playable game. The games that happen then, you can't play them anymore. They just don't exist. But I want to do that in summaries, and we're going to add that onto the Let's Plays that I'm doing. And that's the idea behind the channel relaunch. I'm not going to have necessarily a variety of video games going at one time on my channel. I am going to have chronological games on my channel. And it's going to be a lot of firsts for me. This is definitely something that's kind of stretching me a bit. It's going to be my first time using a full script. I've never done a script before. Right now I have a couple bullet points in front of me to talk about the things that I wanted to talk about in this update, but I've never done a full script. And this time I'm going to do a full script. And I'm going to hopefully be able to match that script with good visuals, good music to back me up and stuff like that. That's kind of the goal. That's what I'm trying to do. If you're curious about what video games I'm going to be playing, right? Because that's probably the biggest thing about how long this is going to take. And this is going to take me a long time. This is going to dominate the channel. This is what the channel is going to become, this project. I do have a list ready of all the video games through 2018 that I want to at least look at. But I'm not going to share this list because I can't guarantee that I'm going to actually be able to play these games. There's always going to be issues with it. So the list is not set in stone right now. I have a list, a massive list of the video games that I want to play, that I want to look into. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, though. There's going to be some, I don't know, Japanese games that never got translated. Then I'm not going to be able to play it, right? I don't read or speak Japanese, so if it's not translated into English, I can't do much with it. There's going to be online games that no longer have active servers, that have been shut down, and therefore I can't play it, right? It's not available for me to play. Or I'm going to have trouble getting the game, right? Either finding a working copy somewhere or finding a way to replicate it somehow. And if I can't do that, then I can't play the game. So I do have a list, like I said, of a massive amount of video games. I haven't counted it. It's probably better if I don't say how much it is, but it's a ton of games. Trust me, if you have a game in your head right now that you've asked me to play or you've thought about asking me to play, it's on my list. I can almost guarantee it. But because of the nature of what I'm going to do, I can't really produce the list out and tell you guys what I'm going to do or how many games I'm going to be playing. I'm still editing it. I'm kind of paring it down, actually, because there's so much on there. But that is the goal. I want to go through the games kind of in chronological order. Of course, I can't do it fully in chronological order because some of these games, nobody knows when they came out anymore. And it kind of depends on your interpretation. Like, I think there was one game, I don't even know what year it came out. It either came out in this year or that year, let alone the day. So I'm going to do it kind of in rough chronological order, as best as I can to kind of show how things progressed over time. That's definitely my goal.